But it does get a little annoying, like when I want to go to work and I'm like, you know what? I actually wanted to use that today. Fuck, where did I put it though?
Yeah.
So, because I'm not trying to look around the house when I got to be at work at 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, not when I still got to make breakfast and I got to shower and then drive to work.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'll just take this one instead.
Let's see.
So.
now. Oh, there we go. I don't think my transition worked that well, but we're giving it a shot here. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to Weekday Wisdom. I hope that we are live. It says we are. Everything says good, but anybody out there in the chat want to tell us if we're good? I want to thank Raging Vapor for coming on with me. He wanted to come on and hang out and just kind of update with us and talk a little advocacy. I know Raging Vapor and I had a good conversation the other day through Twitter with some guy. That's what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. If the volume was on, I really can't remember if the volume was on or not. But let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to get us to pull up here on YouTube, and it's moving a little slow, so I'm not 100% sure that we're good. I think we are.
But I'm sorry for my picture. It was kind of like last minute, so I'm using my phone. So.
Oh, you're perfectly fine, man. I just thank you for coming on. Shoot, I'll do it by myself, but I thank anybody that wants to come on and hang out. So advocacy is always a worthy topic, and if more people happen to jump in, hey, the more the merrier. That's the way I look at it. So we'll start out with buffets. So man, what you vaping on tonight?
I got a multitude of things. So I'm using the Bonza 1.5 on top of my Coil Art Mage 2 stacked mech mod.
Nice.
And it's got the clear button on the bottom, so I changed that out. 21 700s. You can get them from my VPro. That has my Cookie King cocoa cream on the inside.
Ooh, tasty.
It's actually really good. Like there's a lot of chocolates out there that don't taste like chocolate. That's definitely chocolate.
Yeah.
And then I have my Profile Unity sitting on top of my Keen Mech mod. And then when I'm not wanting to use one of my mechs, I've got my Rage Squawk mod that I'm actually using as a dripper instead of filling up the bottle because I was too lazy to do so. With my Pulse 2, RDA on top. That's running 0.16 ohms at 120 watts. So, and inside that I have the Mr. Freeze Strawberry and Watermelon Menthol. Fantastic liquid.
Nice. All right.
So what you vaping on?
Let's see. We'll start out with I have the Reverie on the Aegis. I've got a dual coil in there. Squeezed the dual coil in there, coming out to 0.33, and I got that at 60 watts. In there, got some Cloud Nerds Strawberry Lemon, and the same liquid in the Creed sitting on top of the Keen stainless steel. And then I have my Overlord with the Drop Dead. In there I have Shamrock Cookie Sad Boy. I have my Tenacious Unicorn hybridized to the Ardent. And in there I've got yeah, that's the right one, Psycho Cruller Side B from Vinyl and Vapor, my man Eric. Got Big Lunch, the Asgard on top of the Keen Copper Cerakoted. In there I've got some Manga Bees, the 12 Monkeys, and also have the Recurve Dual sitting on top of the iJoy Shogun with the DHD matchy drip tip. And in there I've got that Manga Bees also. I wanted to, just got that in yesterday, and I wanted to try it out with something that I really knew the flavor on. And I was telling everybody last night, it's for real. The flavor off of that thing is amazing. It actually replaced my Profile Unity. And that, I was surprised. The coils that came with it come out to a .12, which is odd for a out of the pack coil that comes with a RTA. So that's all I've got. I've got a Caliburn and a Frenzy floating around here somewhere with some 12 milligram 50/50 from Paradigm. Wicked Berry, I think that's what it is. Pretty sure. So, but I wanted to touch base real quick on the New York restraining order. So I know that went into effect, and it actually gave the shops, I think, another week or two to the 18th, I believe, before the court goes back in session. And so hopefully
Yeah.
these places didn't just do a closeout sale and sell everything. Hopefully they've still got stuff left, so that way they can actually stay open for a little while longer. Uh, I know that's tough to get right down to the date, where I got to close my doors tomorrow, but oh no, you get to stay open. I come in the VTA and Benevolent E-Liquids, and there was somebody else that was in there with them. I can't remember all the names, but I think it was three.
Yeah, I don't remember the other company.
It was three companies that went in together, or two companies that went in together with the VTA.
Yeah.
And they got the restraining order, which
Yeah.
is huge. So really, really, thank you to the VTA. I know they're working their way in Michigan to try to do something there also. So hopefully they will be able to get something done there, and get everybody back on track in that area too. Because I have some friends in Michigan. I actually have some family in close to Lansing. I don't. They're not really vapors, but still, anybody that's there that is a vapor, my heart goes out to you. Especially, with everything that's going on. And if you need my address, I'll give it to you. You can ship it to me, and I'll forward it on to you. I'm not going to let anybody go without, or turn back to combustible cigarettes. That's just not an option. So I'll do what I have to do to get you what you have to have to get through until all this is over. So anybody in Michigan, hit me up. Contact information is down below in that little box. I'm breaking the law, but who cares? Or wait a minute, I'm breaking the law, but so what? That's
so what?
Yep. That's if he wants to look at it that way, so what? Uh, but yeah, I mean that's really all I wanted to cover with this right now. So it's just going to be me and Raging just hanging out, having a good time. If anybody else out there wants to pop in, feel free to pop in. We can cover anything that's going on somewhere else. I know that Oregon has some stuff in play. Nothing really definite yet, but I think they're in preparations for a ban. And, hopefully by what's going on in New York, it's going to deter other states from trying to go that route. I can't guarantee it, but hopefully that they'll get the message that, hey, we're out here and we're taking action against what you're doing, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm hoping that message will get across to everybody, especially the antis, that they have to understand that we are here and we will make a difference, and we will put everything out there to make a difference. So everything that we have is on the line, and we're not going to hesitate to take action when it's needed. So is there anything going on
especially when it comes to a life-saving industry?
Oh yeah, I mean it's huge. I smoked for 24 years. I think I put on Twitter that I ravaged my body with combustible cigarettes for 24 years.
I mean, I'm not that old. I smoked for 18.
Yeah. I'm 42. I smoked for 24 years, so over half my life I've smoked. So hold on just a second. Hold on. I got something going on.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching, there's also other news, but I'm going to wait for Shane to come back so he doesn't miss it as well. I did see a call to action for San Diego, California, from CASA. If you're not a member of CASA, go and join them. CASA.org, CASAA.org. It's free to join. All you need is an email. If you want to donate, there's a little donate button on the bottom. Everything that you do is absolutely appreciated. And we need, honestly, all the help that we can possibly get in this upcoming fight that we're still going through and is only going to get worse.
Okay, sorry. I had real life on the other side of the curtain I had to tend to.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I apparently didn't charge my iPad, but I was trying to pull up the information right now. There is also, and I was just mentioning this right now while you were gone, there is a call to action from CASA for San Diego on the 15th of this month.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in the San Diego area, and whether you're a vapor or not, you want to stand up for it or whatever, there is a meeting on the 15th in San Diego, California. So if you're in the area, or even if you're not in the area, I mean, you could live in Northern California for all I care. If you can make the drive, I would highly suggest making the drive and standing up for the industry that has saved not only probably your life, but millions and millions of other people.
Mm-hmm. And that, this may be kind of going along the same lines that Los Angeles did about, the unincorporated areas. But that doesn't matter. If you're
Yeah.
within the city limits and they're talking about unincorporated areas, go anyway. Make a difference for the people that are in those unincorporated areas that may not know this, that may not know that this is going on. That's one of the biggest reasons that, Jay and I, we do this week in and week out. Fortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. He's doing dad duty, so Raging Vapor stepped in and said, "Hey, man, I'm there." So, I greatly thank him for doing that, and I'm sure Jay does too. So, but that's the reason we come on and we share all this stuff, because we want everyone to be as informed as they possibly can be. If it's not from CASA, if you're not a member, if you're not part of your, CASA Facebook page for your state, that's really the only thing I do on Facebook now is CASA, the Alabama CASA. That's the only thing I do. I'm hardly ever on Facebook. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I think just about all of us do.
I'm addicted to Twitter.
Yeah, that is our battleground at the moment, because we can get on there and we can tag the people that we need to tag that can see these posts, and that way they'll understand, hey, this is out here. Here's the science. Here's the evidence. Here's the facts that we need to present to these people, and hopefully they're actually taking the time to look over it. I don't know. I can't say, but if it's mentioned enough times, I think they will have to stop and say, okay, let's look at this, because I've gotten this same information from 72,000 people on Twitter, so I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Hopefully we can make that impact. I know there's 13 million estimated vapors. 10 to 13, I think, is what Grim tweeted the other day.
The last number I heard was 13.8.
Yeah. So 10 to 13, low balling. So let's just go that. I don't want to. I know Danielle Jones did the study that in 2017 there was 13, so there could be more now. But let's just take numbers that we know. So we'll say 10 to 14, just estimate it there. But you still have to look. 10 to 14 million is a whole lot of people, and you know that's 10 to 14 million votes for you know
Yeah.
everybody votes for president, so that's 10 to 14 million votes for the president. Which I am glad that he kind of took a step back from what he was proposing. I think that that had a lot to do with Sharpless and who's the other guy? Azar, I think was his name. Uh,
Yeah, Alex Azar.
yeah, that I think they were really
Yeah,
pushing.
Secretary Alex Azar.
Yeah, I think they were really pushing that agenda. And I'm not 100% sure he didn't do that just to get them off his back. And it might not have been, but that's probably the most scripted that I've ever seen Trump. Most time he's very
Yeah,
engaging with people and looking into the camera when he's talking. Hey, this is what I'm talking about. These are the facts. Fake news. All this other stuff. During that interview, he's looking over here at Sharpless the whole time. Like, yeah, is that what you wanted me to say?
right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Goodbye.
Am I
you
doing
know.
it right?
Yeah. Am I putting out what you
Uh,
want me to say? I think that had a lot to do with
am
it.
I doing it right? Can I have my cardboard now?
Yeah.
This
It's
guy.
it's it's going to be huge.
This guy.
So,
Yeah.
but
We've got fantastic people on it.
yeah. Yeah, I've learned from work. There is a guy at work that he's going to end up being demoted next week, or actually towards the end of this week. And I hate to see it, but he's made promises that he can't keep. And
Deliver. Yeah.
yeah, he can't deliver. When somebody says something about it, and it's, oh, that's my number one priority. This has my full attention. And then the next time it comes around, there's no change. So it's like, well, how did that have your full attention, but you never changed anything? And I think we really need to pay attention to that with our elected officials, with our legislators, and especially with our president. If they come across and they're
Yeah.
they're making all these empty promises, and then nothing comes about of it, I think we really need to pay attention to that stuff. And I hate to see that guy lose that position. Uh, simply because I like him personally. I don't not like him. So, but I understand why they're doing what they're doing, because you really can't say that, hey, I'm gonna do X Y Z and then you don't do any of it. So it's empty
Very
promises
true.
will yeah, empty promises will never get you anywhere, and that's what a lot of elected officials do, and we all know that. We all know that they're going to do what they do, and it's all politics, and we have to understand how the game is played before we can make a difference. And I think us discussing it on here and getting that word out will help people along that don't really understand all of it yet. There is a lot of younger people out there. I'm in my 40s. I don't know how old you are.
I'm 31.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're not that bad. I know Jay's only 25, but he's a very different 25 than anyone that I've ever met. Uh, you know, he
Yeah,
he
yes.
he still has that working mentality. He's not owed anything, and that's something that I greatly respect about him. He doesn't expect anything from anyone. He's going to work for everything he's got, and he's still going to go above and beyond for people that he doesn't even know. You know, like calling Michigan, he still calls Michigan. And they can tell him, hey, we're not talking about that anymore with people out of state. He still calls them the next day, just because. And it's just one of those things that you normally don't find in the younger generation. And God, I never thought I would say that. I never I never wanted to be that. Back in my day, but it just ends up happening. There is a lot of differences that have happened over I guess the last 20 years from when I was 22. It's a whole lot different. Uh, but our parents didn't understand that kind of thing when we were that age. Everything's different from when you were younger, and now our kids are saying, or my kids are saying same thing to me. And I think no, it's not, but it is totally different. And we have to understand that. But and I know I'm getting way off subject, but I have a tendency to do that. But then I have to make it come around and meet back in. Uh, my daughter is very political, Now she's the opposite side of the coin from me because I'm very conservative and she is very liberal. Very liberal. Like, she was a Bernie Sanders voter. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, and I mean, I don't have any issue with what people believe. I go facts for facts. The person doesn't matter to me. The facts are what matter. And she didn't understand all of that at the time. She just knew that he was the popular choice for people her age, and I think that's why she did it.
Nah.
It was different, and she always
Yeah.
tries to be different. So I think that was the main reason for it. We'll see in 2020, where she's going to go at that point. If she still sticks with that, hey, more power to her. I don't know if she really will, but whatever happens, happens. So let's see.
Yeah.
The Oregon
That
thing.
California thing, I do have the information for California.
Oh, okay, great.
So for the San Diego County call to action, it is next Tuesday, October 15th at 9 a.m. at the Campus Center Chambers, 5520 Overland Avenue, San Diego, California. All right, so 5520 Overland Avenue, San Diego, 9 a.m. next Tuesday.
And of course, it's 9 a.m., so all the working people will have to take off from their jobs to go there.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
And all the shops
Because
will
they
have
make
to,
it confusing on purpose.
yeah, all the shops will have to close unless they have somebody to cover, which, from what I
Right.
understand, most shop owners don't have anyone to cover that, or most shops around here. The owner always works the morning.
Not for opening.
Yeah, the owner always opens
Yeah.
and works part of the morning and then has somebody come in after to take the afternoon and close. So
Yeah.
hopefully the shops
The
will be
majority
able.
of the shops in my area, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I know majority of the shops in my area, they don't even open till 11. So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's an opportune time for us,
yeah,
but not everybody's that fortunate.
yeah. So I said I'm not sure, I think it was on Weekend Wisdom last week, we talked about, I did actually get an email back from one of my representatives. I'm not 100%
Mm.
sure if it wasn't just like a canned response to everybody that has written him about that, because there was other people in the Alabama CASA group that actually posted, and it was the exact same email that I got. But all I can say is, even if it was a typed up response to everybody, at least he's making a response. That's the only response I've gotten from any contact that I've made with legislators, state, federal. I even emailed the governor, and I never got a response from anyone about anything. So hopefully, uh, maybe eventually we'll start getting some responses. Uh, and the crazy thing, that guy was actually a Democrat that I did not vote for that gave me a response. So, huge, huge props to him for actually taking the time to respond to these people, even if it was a canned response. So it was a pretty long email. I was very impressed with the stance that he was saying. They don't want to ban, they just want to look at sensible regulations, and they want to keep it out of hands of teens, which I think is everybody in the vaping community. We are available
Yeah.
for sensible regulations and strict restrictions from teens. Uh, you know, I've called out there's two vape shops in the town where I live. Well, one of them is a smoke shop that sells vapes, so it's called the Smoke and Dip. It used to be an ice cream shop called the what was it called? Sip and Dip is what it was called, and then they closed, and the smoke shop moved in there, and they call it the Smoke and Dip, which is just idiotic to me. But there's a guy in there that actually sells to underage kids and tells them, if anybody asks you where you got it from the gas station across the street. which irritates me because I know the
That's
people.
wrong.
I know the people that own the gas station across the street, and they are very strict on whom they sell to. So I actually went in there and talked to the guy and asked him why he did it. And he was just like, no, 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 no. That's all he kept saying was no. Every question. Didn't matter if it was a yes or no question. He just kept telling me no. So hopefully,
That's
hopefully he
disgusting.
stopped. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not going to sit outside and ask everybody that comes out, hey, are you underage? Even though I probably should, uh, because those are the people that are ruining it for the rest of us. And I think we as a community need to take a stand against those people. Uh, and the thing that I was working on that I've been talking about for the past few weeks, and I'm not sure that you even know about this, I'm working with a friend of mine that is in IT at the company that I work for, and he's a programmer. And we're trying
Okay.
to get together and make this program that will scan the 2D barcode on the back of your driver's license. And
Okay.
it's gonna pull out your name, birth date, and expiration date of your driver's license. That's all we want it to pull out. And he's writing a program that you will upload in your vape shop that when you scan that driver's license, then you're able to complete the transaction. But until then, you can't do any transaction without a driver's license. So this scan will show the birth date. It's going to verify it by the actual date on the computer. And then
Right.
it will open and let you complete the transaction. So that's in the works. And what I want to do with that, I don't want to sell it. If they make me sell it, they say, well, you can't just give this away, then I'll sell it to any vape shop for $1. Yes, you'll have to buy the actual little scan gun to use it, but I think those are, well, the ones we use. And the reason I thought of this because we use these at where I work, doing electrical harnesses for automotive, and we actually have to scan the serial numbers on the harnesses to track them all. And they use the little
Right.
handheld scanners, pretty much the same thing they use at the gas station. They pick it up and scan your drink or whatever with it before you buy it.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
kind of made me think, that on our driver's license is just a 2D barcode. And I wondered what information was there. So I took mine out at work and took it to one of the stations and actually just pulled up the notepad and scanned it, and it pulled all the information on my driver's license. Everything from name, address, hair color, everything was there. And then I started talking to my buddy and saying, hey, can we cherry pick? Can we write a program that'll just cherry pick information out of here that we need? And he said, yeah, that'll be easy. So he's in the process, but he also works, has a family, has a farm. So it's a little tough for him to find time to actually sit down and do it all at once. So, but he's working on that, and that's something that I would want to give, if possible, to any vape shop business. And they could do it however they wanted to. If they wanted to have it on their register, you could do it that way. A lot of people have a scanner at the door, from what I understand. You have to scan your driver's license either to get in or to get, all the way in. You could maybe open the first door and then the second door you have to scan your license, or, it could be however you need to use it. I think the easiest way would be on the register. The register's locked until you're able to scan a driver's license. Then at that point you can complete the transaction. But even with
Right.
that, even with that in place, I think it would still be definitely on the shop itself to say who's who, because anybody can take their brother's driver's license. Of course, that's going to eliminate all fake IDs because it's hopefully we will be able to work something in there where it will understand if it's a fake barcode or a real barcode. I don't know how we would do that just yet, but that's something that we would have to do in the future because I don't know how intricate these fake IDs are. Back in the day before they had all the barcodes, it was really easy to do a fake ID. I don't know
Yeah,
how it
I
is
mean,
now.
you could probably find somebody to do it just for um, the purposes of this. Because I know, like, I went to I went to a tobacco meeting here in Arizona, and one of their suggestions to combat some of this was to do the sting operations and pretend that they were underage, get somebody who looks young enough, and that they would have to find a fake ID. So, I mean, if the government can do it, I'm sure it's completely possible for us. And then once you have an actual ID, i.e., yours, and then you have a fake ID, then just kind of see if there's a way to figure out how the coding works on the barcode,
Yeah.
and then kind of just go from there, and then go through each one of the actions and strings and variables that needs to go into the programming
Mm-hmm.
um, in order to have it know how to read that information properly.
Yeah. And I think that would be an immense value to the community itself because we could say, hey, we went in and we placed this at our shops, at vape shops. Now, if the government wanted to come in and buy, the program, then yes, I would charge them for it. And I would charge them everything I could for it. Because in my eyes,
Hands down.
that's somebody that should have come up with this program anyway. They're the ones that put the barcode on the license. So why are they not coming up with this to combat their epidemic? Why is it
Right.
me, a consumer advocate that's coming out saying I want to create this program for these shops so they can stay in business? This should be the government's
Yeah.
job, not mine. But I'm taking it on my shoulders because I want to make a difference. I want these shops to stay in business. I don't want to see anybody else lose their job because of this epidemic that they call it. uh,
Yeah. Um, that's it's just insane. So, question for you though, and obviously each state is gonna differ, but um, are any of your shops there taking any sort of because I know you're still in a safe state for the moment.
yep.
Um, are any of your shops taking any sort of preemptive strikes as far as like remodeling the stores? Because I know I have one here that I go to, Red Star Vapor here in Arizona, and um, good friend of mine is the store manager. And I was talking to her the other day, and she said she's going to reorganize the store to where the cashier's station and the register is going to be directly next to the door. So as soon as you walk in, if you don't have your ID ready, gotta go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Period.
Uh,
Not putting up with that. And then the rest of the merchandise is going to be a little further into the store, just so that way they can kind of help combat the issue of anyone being underage.
right. Yeah, I think that's a great plan.
So,
Uh, there's one
so
shop.
do you know if any of your shops around there is doing it?
The one, the decent one here in town, they don't. It's I've never seen the owner of this shop in there. The only people I've ever seen in there are younger folks. Early to mid 20s is all I've ever seen in this shop, and there's 3 or 4 different people that I've seen in there, but they're all around that age. Uh,
Right.
they're a decent shop. They're not very helpful. Hey man, what you need?
Yeah.
That's about all there is. Well, you got like this. I got this, and it's
That's
just a point of a
that's
finger.
poor customer service.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to educating your folks. Now, the one that I go to that's close to my office, the guy in there is probably closer to my age. Hold on. Super nice guy.
Bless you.
Uh, I've been going in there for year and a half, 2 years now. Uh,
Okay.
and he has a strict training program for anybody that works in that shop that they go over, and he has a camera that's shine down directly over the top of his register. And all that camera records is the transactions. And it records all of his employees checking IDs. He has all that on tape. He has training records for, yes, I have gone through the training program of IDing everyone that comes in the store. You know, like I said, I've been going in there for a couple of years now. He IDs me every time, just simply because he's in there, and if he's running the register, he's making an example for his people to follow. And everybody that's
Yeah.
ever run that register has ID'd me from day one. And I fully respect that. You know, I don't hesitate to show my ID to anybody for anything because I know that's their job. Some people get offended. My wife still gets giddy when somebody uh, IDs her, especially like, you know, she gets a mixed drink and they're like, can I see your ID?" And she's just like, "I love you." Uh, but I've never understood the people that get angry. You know, where you want to check my ID for? I'm so and so many years old, and it's just like, you know, it's just your job. But I can respect them doing that,
Yeah.
and you know, having all those training records of, yes, I went through the training protocol, and it's all on video. So if FDA or
Yeah.
anybody comes in and they say, "Hey, you didn't ID this person, they just came in here and bought this," and he's like, "No, here's the video evidence of everybody that came in on day XYZ, and you can see that everybody was ID'd, and here's who was working, here's their training records," and you know, he's got all his bases covered, which is great, and he has his register right as you walk in the door. I mean, you walk in and the register's right here, and everything else is on this end of the store. So you have to go by
Good.
him first before you even turn to go into the store. So,
Right.
but the real crappy
That's
shop here, the register's all the way in the very back. So you have to walk, you know, 15, 20 feet into the store to get to the register, and everything else you walk right by it to get to the register. So,
right.
but they're also the people that sell to
Yeah.
anybody.
That's great. Yeah, I have one that's here that's like that. They never ID me. I don't know if maybe it's just because obviously I'm old enough and they can see that, or if they just don't care. But I mean, I can just go in there and be like, "Hey, let me get that liquid. All right, here you go, $18,"
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah,
I mean, there's no ID process or anything,
yeah.
and they've got so many people just hanging out in there that look so young, like they should actually still be in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I'm just like, I don't really like that store, but it's the only one that I know of that's open, at least in my area, 24/7. They even work on holidays.
Oh
They're open on
wow,
Thanksgiving. They're open on Christmas. Like, so if you run out of liquid, that shop is always open.
that's cool. Now I do like the
So
the
I'm
late night shop. There's not one of those around here at all that I know of. I think the latest one I know of stays, it closes at like 8.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, but that's the only shop. But the the owners seem a bit shady to me. Um, so I'm not really sure because they're a smoke shop slash vape shop.
Yeah,
So I mean, they've still got all the tobaccos and the rolling papers and everything else. They've got the hookahs in there and
yeah,
whatnot. But they do also have, actually a pretty good selection for at least for e-liquids. I don't buy any hardware from them because all their hardware is like smoke and stuff.
oh yeah. The cheapest thing they can buy so they can make the most amount of money.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and you
So
know, that's
I
understandable
mean,
for shops. I mean, there's that one close to my office. He's got cosmonauts, drop deads. You know, he kind of gets that middle of the road, you know, to decent. You know, doesn't have anything high
right,
end. but you know he does get decent stuff. But he does carry smoke products also. Uh, but he's very good. You know, he'll tell you if it's, you know, this is okay if you want to start with this, but then this is actually better. You know, it's $10 more, but
Right.
it's going to last you longer than this one will. So he's not there for. I mean, he's there to make money, but he's not there all about the money. So, and he
Right.
is part of the. I think it's called Breathe, the something organization for business. Uh,
Right.
it's kind of like the VTA, but it's only in Alabama. So
Okay.
it's some kind of organization. But it's, you know, he takes, you know, he pays for a membership. You know, I'm all about it. You know, that's where I go if I want to buy anything from a brick and mortars. I'll go there. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's getting really tough for brick and mortars though, because you know used to be vape shops were a dime a dozen. You know, you'd drive down the road, especially in big cities, and you'd see one about every third block. And then I think it got so uh, I can't think of the word, inundated, I guess, with so many different shops. You know that only the bigger shops survived. So the
Yeah.
and a lot of times those weren't the good ones. And that's the bad part is you get these little mom and pop places. Like I know Jay has one that's just right down the road from where he lives. That's just a mom and pop, and you know they do exceptional stuff. You know they make e-liquid. They you know they uh, customize it to that person's need. You know if you want a 9 milligram, they can make a 9 milligram. So
Wow.
yeah, they do everything in house, uh, which is it's tough. And you know I know he's talked about before. He doesn't know if they're going to make it through all the PMTAs and everything. But you know they're out there doing their
That's,
best, and you know that's all you can ask
yeah.
for. You know you go out there
Yeah.
and do your best, and be customer driven rather than financially driven. Which that's a huge order to ask for these people that are in these shops because they're out there to make money. You know that's the reason they opened it. And then you know if you
Right. But
open,
at the same time, though, customer service is everything. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know about you, but even if I go out to eat, not even kidding you, your tip starts at $20. If I get poor service, it goes down by $5 for every mistake that you make.
yeah, well I fully agree with that.
I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. Customer service is everything, and that's what keeps people coming back. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so for having those unfortunate bad shops that are just like, "Sup? What do you want?
Yeah, no,
All right, I'll get out." One of those shops
yeah,
versus the, "Hey, welcome in. How can we help you?"
yeah,
That's the clear difference between the whole customer service thing. I mean, I would prefer to go somewhere that's a little bit more positive. They're willing to help me.
right,
I mean, because I again, I have my friend she's a store manager at a vape shop, and if I ever have questions, I just call her up and I'm just like, hey, you know, I was looking at this device and whatever, blah blah blah. Do you guys have it? No, but this is where you can find it. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, cool, thank you.
yeah. People at
So,
the
I mean, yeah, it just comes down to customer service.
yeah.
Like, don't don't be a jerk. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I don't want to walk into a shop and the guy go, "Sup," you know. No,
Right.
that doesn't work. You know, you do that to your
No,
buddies.
it doesn't.
You know, if you know a guy from high school and he walks into where you're working and you go, "Sup," it's okay. If I come in and I
Yeah, that's
have
different.
no clue of who you are and you look at me and go, "Sup," I'm just gonna turn around and walk out because I don't have any use for that.
Yeah,
You know, you don't have to call
I
me
agree.
sir. You know, you don't have to do any of that stuff. But hey, how's it going? If you need any help, let me know. That's all you got to say. And if you're with another customer and don't
Really
address me
simple.
right away, I'm not going to be offended to that. You take care of that customer 100% the way you need to, especially if you're
Yeah.
working here by yourself. But
Yeah.
these,
Even if you have to say, "We'll be with you in just a second," and
yeah,
then continue doing what you're doing.
yeah. Hey, take a look around. If you need anything, I'll be with you in just a second.
Yep.
Uh, but that falls on the shop owner to actually set them aside and teach them customer service, especially if they're, early to mid 20s. They don't know squat about
Mhm.
customer service. I know we didn't. I didn't know how to treat somebody. I treated everybody like they were my friends. So,
Yeah. So did I.
yeah. And I mean, that's until you tell them the correct way to do it, it's not necessarily their fault. Now, there's some kids that their parents have taken time to to teach them certain things on how people need to be addressed. My parents weren't really big on sir and ma'am, but I understood that anywhere else I went, it was sir and ma'am. I didn't necessarily have to do that at home, but when somebody that was my parents' age addressed me, it was yes sir, yes ma'am, and that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
That's the problem with the new generation.
yeah, I don't think that's been beat into their minds. And like my seven
No,
year
not
old,
yet.
what's funny is my 7 year old, my wife has gotten on to him so much. He he'll say yes ma'am to her. When I get on to him, he says yes ma'am to me instead of yes sir because he's so used to saying yes ma'am. And I just take it and roll with it. It doesn't
Yeah.
bother me.
Yeah.
He's
I
making
mean,
an effort.
yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I was playing Apex earlier, and I could tell he was probably like, I don't know, 10, 12,
Yeah,
13. And this kid was like, I mean, the rest of the team got taken out. There was not really much I could do. And this kid actually thought that it was okay. And granted, I'm a stranger, so that's strike number one. But then two, I'm an adult. Actually thought that it was okay to shout at me through my headset and tell me what he really thought. And that's just not okay. I mean, and that I think that's kind of like when I think about it in a bigger picture, that's kind of like how um, the government sees the rest of their constituents, and it's just like, well,
yeah,
mommy and daddy will get to you in a little while. We don't really care about your problems at this moment. I got
mm-hmm,
bigger issues,
yeah,
and that's a huge issue. Um, Whereas, I mean, many people will tell you, I know you know this, I know this. They work for us. We elect them. We pay
exactly.
their paycheck out of our taxes. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't work 50 hours a week for nothing. So it's just like, um, yeah, no, I don't know what you thought you were doing, but that's not the right thing to be doing. Like all the governmental overreach. I think the thing with it is that um, a lot of these states that are going through with the bans and their overreach are taking out of context the 10th Amendment that states that the state governments and the people can actually ignore the federal government, and they're just like, well, I mean, it's my right. It's given to me by the state laws. Mm, to an extent, bro. To an extent.
yeah,
I mean, you can't just be like, well, I don't like that, so ban it.
yeah,
Like, that doesn't work. I mean, all you're going to end up doing is causing a huge mutiny, and America is going to go into anarchy.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
you're
our forefathers are got to be rolling in their graves right now. I mean, we started because they rebelled against the king and they
yeah,
wanted a free land, and now you're just taking everything away from us.
exactly. And I understand they have to look out for health and wellness and well-being, but just completely going and banning a product simply because they say that it's, we see that, we deem that as marketing to kids. Okay? Well, what about all the bubblegum liquor, you know, coconut rum,
Yeah.
all that, yeah, it doesn't have
How's
bright.
that rosé wine?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the bright colors and things on it, and I understand that it's more or less just a clear blank label. And if that's what it comes down to, I'm sure that companies would be willing to sacrifice their bright labels. I don't see that making a huge difference because I've said it on here many
No, it
times. The
won't.
the kids aren't after the flavor; they're after the Nick Buzz. That's all they want. That's
Yeah,
the
they
reason.
are.
That's
I
the
mean,
reason they picked it up. Hey man, you got to try this. I got a hell of a head rush. They're not going,
that's
hey,
why I
try this.
started smoking.
Yeah, they're not saying, hey, try this, man. This mango is fabulous. That's not why they're doing it.
No.
That's why we do it. You know, hey, I want to quit
Yeah.
smoking. I'm tired of tasting like ass, and I'm tired of smelling like an
Yeah.
ashtray. Uh,
Yeah. So
maybe I,
here's this unicorn puke. Try this. This will get you out.
yeah. I don't care what
I
it's
mean,
called.
we've come up with some ridiculous names.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you got unicorn poop, and I mean, even this, it's called manga bees. Magabeys. Now it's a pineapple mango
Yeah.
guava, but it
Right.
tastes good. It's not a, you know, cartoon label. It's not named after a cereal. Uh, things like that, and I just don't understand. People that are, hey, this is a health risk, ban it. Let's not do any research on it, just ban it because Doctor So and
Yeah.
So said it's a health risk. If anything, ban the THC carts. For I understand. Some
Yeah.
people that is a health benefit for a lot of people. I know it helps with anxiety and things like that, but
Yeah.
until all this is sorted out, if you can, regulate it, regulate the THC carts, make them go through the FDA because that's what's causing this. This all of
Well, I
this,
mean, you can buy it from dispensaries.
right?
Buy it from a reputable source. Don't buy it from Charlie Brown down the street, bro. That's not the way this works.
Yeah,
Go buy it from a reputable source. I have a dispensary across the street. If
yeah,
I had a card, if I was allowed to hold a card, I would go across the street. I mean, but if you don't have a card but you still want to use it, as much as I stand for harm reduction, until this blows over, if you can't get it, stick to dry herb. Straight up, stick to dry herb.
yeah. That's what everybody's saying now. If you're gonna do it, use flour. You know, I choose not to. CBD is legal where I am, but I haven't. I've kind of looked at the benefits of it because
Yeah,
I have a lot of anxiety issues and things like that, and I do take
right,
medication for that. And I thought about, well, if I use the CBD, maybe I could drop this medication and I wouldn't have to take this anymore. But then I want to do more research on CBD because I want to know everything that's going on with it before I actually put that inside of my body. And I don't think, I think people aren't really taking that initiative. The people that are using the black market THC, they're not using it like they're supposed to. They're not taking that initiative to research what's going on. They just want to get high. Uh, you know,
yeah.
which I mean, kids are that way. They're stupid. I was stupid when I was a teenager. I remember the
I was a
first
dumb teenager.
yeah, the first time I drank, I think I drank like 7 or 8 beers and then shot Jack Daniels right afterwards. So
Yeah,
I was puking for an hour and a half after that. So it happens. You reap what you sow. I was stupid and drank a lot the first time, and I ended up being sick. And I think
right.
a lot of people do that because they don't know yet. But they're the government. I think they're starting to understand that they are going to force a black market if this continues. I don't know if
Right.
that's going to make any difference in what they're doing. I hope that the wins, and I'll call them wins, the wins in New York. I'm hoping people will see that, and it'll make a difference in the decision that they're making. I know
Right.
Alabama right now is not looking at a ban, but they're looking at alternate ways to uh, keep it away from teens, but be able to keep the businesses open because they don't want to cost
Right.
anybody jobs. And I fully commend that for them looking into that, saying, "Hey, we know we
Yeah.
got to
No,
do,
that's smart.
yeah, we have to do something, but let's just not ban it. Let's look at alternate, ways to do it." So we're coming
Yeah,
down.
it's the same thing with the guy in what was it, North Carolina? He said the same thing
Yeah,
when they talked to the FDA and CDC in that hearing a couple weeks back,
yeah.
and he said, "Well, I kind of want to look more into this before
Hmm.
we do anything."
And
I mean, and
it
and,
was
and
in
Arizona's kind of has done the same thing. Governor Doug Ducey said that is ridiculous. We're not doing a ban. That's not happening.
yeah, Douglasville, Georgia was another one where they had a hearing
Yeah,
and people went in and said, "Hey, this has done X, Y, Z. This is how I provide for my family, and these are the facts, the benefits to switching, and things like that." And that committee said, "Hold on, we're not going to do anything. We need to research more." And
right,
that's greatly commended for anybody that's in a position of authority, elected or doesn't matter if you're elected or you just have the job. Uh, Whenever you say, "Hey, I don't think this is right. We need to take a longer look at this so we can make the correct decision," you get big props from me. And I know I'm just a little peon in the world, but uh, you know, I just want to call out those folks and say, "Hey, thank you for, not just immediate knee jerk reaction, for actually taking the time to listen
yeah,
and look into it." The New
yeah,
York people, people got up there and poured their hearts out to this committee of people playing on their phones and having conversations with themselves because they had already had their minds made up. Before that even went in there, they
yeah,
knew what they were going to do. And I hate that
yeah.
for all the
Because
people.
so what?
Yeah, you know, they went in there and took time off of work. I know few people that went that were actually there, uh, and it just angered me because I see these people almost every day, whether it's on Discord or Instagram or Twitter, and some of them I know personally where we've talked on here, we've talked on different shows, or in Discords and things like that. Uh, and it's just huge to see them go pour their heart out, and people come from other states and they try so hard to help people understand. This is why we do this. Our community is so strong when we are together. And right now, everybody's together. Everybody's fighting for a
Yeah,
common goal. And that's the way we need to
yeah,
stay. We should have been this way a year ago, and I wish we could have been. Uh,
right.
but everybody's different. Some people, I know I had a really close friend of mine that was really into drugs, and he loved it. He would work a day, he would work just to get high. And it took him hitting full on rock bottom. I have nothing. I have no car, I have no job, I have nowhere to live. My parents won't have anything to do with me. Rock bottom before he said, "Okay, I want to change." And I think that's different for everybody. That rock bottom level is going to be different person to person. Some person may lose something very close to them, or say they were married and they lose that connection. That could be rock bottom to somebody, or they would have to go through what my friend went through and have nothing left. And I hate for people to have to get that way before they actually realize that there are changes out there that could be made. And that's kind of the way I feel for those legislators. I don't even know if they were legislators. I think they were health officials for New York. Uh, I hope that one day they will see that they made an error. And we can't make them see it. They have to see it on their own. So
Yeah.
we're coming
I
down.
mean,
Go ahead.
we can help educate them though.
Yeah.
I
All we
mean,
can.
they have to honestly see the bigger picture on their own,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, they're not going to get to that bigger picture until the knowledge is presented to them. Whether they read it themselves or we present it to them, they're not gonna get that knowledge. I mean,
Right.
we don't have this knowledge without reading the articles that we read and staying tuned on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat, whatever else you're using to stay connected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does kind of come down to us um, as citizens of America to present this information to them, but at the same time, it is honestly on them to get that sort of aha moment,
Yeah.
and it finally click with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So it's
Right,
our job as advocates and activists to present that information and make it readily available for them. But we can't sit there and force them to read it and look over it. I think that's the biggest problem is they have the facts that's been spoon fed to them, and then we give them our research, and they don't want to take the time to go over it because they think they have all the answers already. Uh, and I hate to see that, but we're coming down to the end here. I want to thank you, man, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it.
yeah, no worries.
Thanks for sharing your opinions, man. It was great. And everybody in the chat on the replay, thank you for watching. And Jay
Yeah,
will be back up and going by Saturday, so we should be good to go for Weekend Wisdom.
yeah,
But anytime
yeah.
you want to,
Quick thing though,
oh, go ahead.
Shane, is that so? Not every state has obviously gone through a ban, but if you're in a safe state, don't stop calling your local representatives. Don't stop writing. Don't stop calling them. Stick to it. I mean, because even if you're in a safe state, that doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. Your state could always be the next one. So um, stay on top of it, keep up the good fight, and just make sure that these people that we elect into power to run not only our state, but also our federal government know what the truth is. Let them know that we're using a 95% less harmful alternative. If they want to argue that, they can go talk to the 36,000 doctors in the Royal College of Physicians. Plain and simple, because you can't run from the science forever. And that's literally all that really matters is the science. The science is there.
Yeah, I mean the facts are
So
out there.
just stay with it.
Yep. I always say White House, your officials, other states. That's the way I operate everything. My state is always right after the White House. So you always got to defend your home. Uh, that comes. I hate to say it, that comes before everybody else's state. You want to be helpful to everybody, but you also want to defend your homestead first. So, but thanks again, man, for coming on. Much love to you.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course.
and thanks again, everybody in chat and anybody watching the replay. And